Okay, let's go ahead and get started on this here, folks. Um, we are going to be, welcome to my 2 p.m. PST Twitch stream. I'm your host, Strange Bro Jim, and today we are going to be getting back into some Pega, as you can see. Um, we also have, uh, later on today, I'll continue to upload some more videos for everybody to watch on the YouTube channel. Now, bear in mind, I am, pacing them out so everybody's not flooded by like, hundreds of videos all at once, kind of thing. Um, so, you know, so if you're like looking for a specific series or something like that, then yeah, it's probably going to be like on um, a particular schedule. Um, so there's that. And we got some Nautica below zero later on tonight. Um, so that's on the agenda for today's stream. Um, if you're watching this on YouTube later, you're always welcome to come on by my streams, say hi there, join me in chat. Um, feel free to ask any questions or anything along those lines, or just join me in conversation. That's perfectly fine as well. Okay, but obviously, this video is going to be focused more on Pega. We had a challenge that we could not get to yesterday. I feared that it would take too long to cover with the amount of time that I had left. So um, we went ahead and kind of bypassed it. But um, let me state, my normal beginning intro here for everything Pega. If you've seen my Pega videos in the past, you know what I'm about to say, but, for anybody that might be coming in new, either to the stream or they're watching these videos for the first time, um, I'm not doing this, Pega's not giving me any kind of endorsement or anything along those lines. I never contacted Pega about um, doing these streams. They never reached out to me concerning these streams either. So yeah, there's no connection there. Just want to put that out. Second, I am not an authorized training partner, and this is not an instructor-led training. Um, I don't want people getting that kind of idea that I'm going to be helping them. I'm some kind of expert that's going to help them through, everything about Pega. I'm trying to learn it myself, so I'm trying to work on my own certification. So sorry, but I'm not going to be able to help you out too much. Um, you know, um, I did a year, but I mean, even then, um, I still feel like there's still a lot for me to learn, to kind of get set in my brain, that kind of thing. So, hold on a second, I need a drink. All right, sorry about that. So, just bear that in mind that we are, um, I'm just working, towards my certification. So, um, you know, you're welcome to ask questions, either right now in chat during this stream, or, later on when I post these videos up on YouTube, you're welcome to put, questions in the comment section. Now, I might be able to answer them, maybe. You know, it's, I can't say for absolute certainty, but, I can definitely give it a good try. Uh, if I can't answer them, then I'll let you know, and I will do my best to try to find someone that can answer. So, I do know a few people out there that, are in the industry, so I can see about asking them directly. So don't feel like, um, you know, you're not going to get an answer if you ask a question. Okay. I will do my utmost best to help you if you need the help. Okay. Um, because let's face it, there, folks, in these, when trying to get the certification for this, it is not easy. Okay. It is not an easy task. So, um, make sure that you know, team up with others, to meet that goal. Okay. So, they made the certification exam can be very difficult, in that, um, they can use um, very specific wording that you may look at the answer and go, well, it could be that answer, it could be this other answer. Which one of those two could it be? And it could be just a matter of like a single word in the question will tip you off as to which one it might be. Um, so it could be, you know, you might face that kind of situation when you're taking your own certification exam. So, um, I will do what I can to try to help out when I can. Um, so yeah. Um, well, that's pretty much it um, for the basics. I'm working towards my system architect. I may try for the business architect, seeing that the two missions here are the same two missions. Business architect only has these two modules that are different, and that's it. So after we're done with these two missions, we'll go on to these two modules. We'll do the two modules. So if anybody's studying for the business architect, there you go. Um, we'll cover everything that you really need to know about the business architect. But then we'll go back to the system architect and maybe even push on towards the senior system architect to try to reinforce what we learned on the system architect mission. But we are going to go into the low code app builder and finish off the next challenge in our list. So the adding dynamic functionality to a button. We're getting close to the end. Well, I say close-ish. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yeah, 11 challenges and modules. So we're getting close. We're getting close. So, all right. We're gonna go ahead and do a reset on this. Don't know why it's trying to tell me to wake it up, but okay. So, um, we're going to be going through all the, detailed tasks and so on and so forth to add everything in, okay? There is the challenge walkthrough that basically shows you what they do through the detailed tasks, but I don't use it unless I'm not sure as to what they want me to do, on the next step, okay? Um, so just bear that in mind that I hardly ever use the challenge walkthrough unless, of course, there's some kind of confusion on my part. Okay. Um, it is my opinion that the detailed task should provide you enough information for you to get through what they are asking you to get through. So the challenge walkthrough shouldn't be needed, but it's there if you do need it. Okay, it's there. Okay. So scenario: after a request from roadside assistance is approved, a service provider is dispatched to the location provided by the customer. To perform this task, customer service representatives request the ability to verify and modify the service address when selecting the service provider. Add a button to the select service provider view so that the CSR can verify the service address submitted by the customer. So, uh, yeah, we're gonna finish off the we're gonna finish off this challenge and proceed on with the next topic. Now, will I be able to hit the next topic for today? Probably not. Um, but crazier things have happened. It all depends on how fast we can get through this challenge. More often than not, it takes me the full hour to do these challenges. Because I'd like to kind of talk about what I'm doing, um, and if there's like anything else that I feel that um, everybody could do to try to improve upon um, the challenge itself. Like, don't feel like have to only do the challenge. Okay, you can do, you know, as I've said in the past, use the instances to mess with the system even more. Modify, um, add some more case types or something along those lines to try to um, make things a little bit more um, to try to make things a little bit more your style or something like that, or allow for you to kind of learn the material a little bit more. So um, obviously you'll have to kind of do that in your own time, you know, but um, I would suggest messing with it, you know, um, create your own case types, build your own, um, processes, multiple stages, um, you know, uh, get some conditions and so on and so forth. So, okay. So, in the navigation pane of the App Studio, click Case Type and Assistance Request. Click Save and Run to create a new assistance request case. So, we're going to go straight into creating a new case. Okay. Now, bear in mind, this is, a server. So, you have to expect the slowdown. So, you know, uh, there are there is the idea of, hey, maybe download Pega yourself and do the, your own Pega version on your own computer. Well, um, make sure that you have a strong computer for that because it is, um, it is not a small application. Okay. Um, so, you know, it's built for, for internet use and like, um, you know, it is my of my opinion, which I mean, you have, every right to, say that's the correct opinion, but it is my opinion that, the Java language, while strong, with, um, web services and, web applications, um, it can be, um, you'd have to like be running the garbage collector like all the time, which obviously would take a lot of, processing power to handle that in order to catch up to speed to, say, like an application built on, you know, C and C++ that has memory management. Or, there are times when it's like when when the application can manage the memory itself, through C and C++, creating the memory, deleting the memory, it's all done in C and C++, that's great if done correctly, obviously. Okay. Um, and you can get some fairly fast results there. Um, Java, with its reliance on collection, obviously, you don't necessarily use the, um, you're not necessarily modifying the memory that much in Java, so I see that as a potential like slowdown. But again, that's my view. You're welcome to say no, 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 Jim. What are you talking about? Um, but all right. Let's get back into this here. So advance the case to identify the location, a step, and then enter an address in the street, city, and state fields. The address field is populated when you progress to identify a vehicle step. So, um, now, I've had problems in the past with the J Metro because they have the gold coverage, which has you know allowed for the um, um, for the program to skip the payment step on occasion. So I'm going with the H Thomas from here on out. No, I don't want to have Google Maps show my local address. Thank you very much. All right. So, um, so they gave 1 Rogers Street, Cambridge, Massachusetts. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing. 1 Rogers Street, Cambridge, Massachusetts. All right. Um, hmm. Oh, right. 1 Rogers Street. Cambridge, Massachusetts. There you go. So there's a map showing the location there. So advance the case to the select service provider step, entering information in all required fields. So okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. So on the header of the App Studio, click Design to enter the design mode when we're at the Select Service Provider step. So here we are at the Select Service Provider step. We click on Design. Under the Select Service Provider label, hover over the Map section and then click Edit this section to open the Select Service Provider configuration pane on the right. So hover over the Map section, this section here, and we do Edit. All right. Now we have the address map and the service provider, which is right there, so that's good. So we're kind of in the right spot. So in the configuration pane, click Add icon to select a UI element. So there we go. Okay. In the controls section, hover over button and then click Add to View icon to add the new UI element to the bottom of the region. So we're gonna go to Action button plus to add the button to the location. So there's the action, there's the button, and then we click on the plus, add the button to the view. Well, you can't really see the plus because my picture is kind of hovering over it, but you know, here, it's right there. Yeah, you guys should have seen that. So this little button right there. All right, so it should have been added. Scroll down to see the button under Service Provider table. Close the Add pane. Okay, so we scroll on down and we can see that the button has been added. Okay, so we're closing the Add pane, and we can see that the button is now in the in everything here. The address map, the service provider section, and then we have the button. Okay, configure the modify service address button. In the configuration pane, hover over the button label and click edit this button icon to open the button configuration pane. So hovering over this, we click on that to edit the button. Yep, there's general and there's presentation. So in the general tab, in the text field, enter modify service address. Click add action sets to define the action sets for the button. So, text is changed to that. Then we add action sets. we're going to be creating an action set. Okay, so in action set 1 section, click add an event to select an event for the button. Okay. In the mouse events section, click click. In the action sets section, click add an action, all actions to display all the available actions. Okay. It's not really showing that, but they're probably saying here, click on this and then all actions to get that window there. So, okay, so first we do the click, and add an action, all actions, and there's this window here that we saw, here. So in the launch section, click local action. So there you go. All right. In the local action field, enter identify location. In the target list, select model dialog. Okay, so identify location. Now, you're probably not seeing that pop up there. Let me confirm. Yeah, you're not able to see these three that are being shown. So, obviously, I don't necessarily want to be switching back and forth between my full window screen every single time. So just know that when I click on this button right here, there's three different options. There's model dialog, there's overlay, and then there's replace current. Okay, so we're doing the model dialog, and okay, so it appears as though we don't really need to do anything more with what's going on this particular page. We don't need to worry about standard, the button, the template name, the display, anything along those lines. So, um, my concern right at this moment in time is that um, I'm not quite sure exactly what everything that they are um, I don't know if they're really explaining everything going on here. Um, because there's a lot of information here that it feels like they're kind of bypassing, and um, this might be very important information, in your job later. You know, um, you might need to know everything that is needed. Why, what is the different types of targets going on here? Um, what is the model format? Why do you have this template name of PZ model template? There's a lot of details here that it feels like they're really glossing over, and I feel like um, they're kind of doing it. I mean, they're showing how to kind of set this up, but at the same time, they're showing us things that that you know, are we going to be seeing them at another time later on? You're giving this information to a business architect for them to kind of work on, and um, sometimes it's easier to make sure that everything is set up correctly, on the first go around than having to try to, modify it later, sometimes. So, not that you can't do it, it's just, um, like for example, this template name, you might want to have, some other template name there, okay, than just what they're, what the default is. And if you leave it this way, then you're basically creating um, memory object that might not necessarily need to be created at all. So you're basically wasting space if you're not careful here. So um, yeah, I feel like you'd want to really study what's going on here, and know exactly what each one of these you know each one of these does, so that when you go out into the real world and start doing this on a regular basis, you know what you need to look for and what they're going to ask you to do. Okay, because they're not going to be going to you and saying, hey, I need you to they're not going to give you these kind of steps like, hey, I want you to uh, add a button, edit the button, change the text field to this. Um, I need you to, um, you know, click on, all actions. Give me the local action on upon launch. I need you to change the local action field to identify locate. They're not necessarily going to be doing all that for you. Okay. Um, so, um, you're going to need to know, um, obviously there's going to be some things that, you're going to need to ask, if they're not outright given to you. Uh, but there are some things that they may assume that, you know, you're going to need to do, and, um, they're not going to tell you how to go about doing it. So, like they may kind of give you a list of um, values in there, like um, they may say, okay, we need you to add a button. Here's the name of the button. Um, here's the local action field name. Um, you know, here's the template name, and we need that by the end of the day or something like that, or we need that, and not maybe not even by the end of the day. They may look at this and go, this is something that you can simply do within the next 30 minutes. So get to it. So you may need to understand what you're going to be looking at here. So all right. Um, Click add another action set. In the action set 2 section, click add an event. Okay, so we're pretty much, we're done with this particular section, so we're just going to add another action set apparently. Add an event, and we're going to hover. So add an event and hover. Okay. In the mouse events section, yep, as a best practice, the hover mouse event should be disabled on a mobile device. Click Add an Action, All Actions. In the display section, click Show Smart Info. Okay, so action, all actions. Um, let's see. Um, in the display section, show smart info. Right. Show smart info. There we go. Okay. Select the display header checkbox. In the header source dropdown, select plain text. In the plain text field, enter current service address. Okay, so got a couple steps here. So display header, um, plain text, and then we have current service address. In the section field, enter or select service address. Click OK to complete the action set configuration. So, um, right. Um, there we go. Okay, and on the button configuration pane, click Apply to save changes to the button. So we click OK, we click Apply, and there it is, Modify Service Address. Close the button configuration pane. Drag and drop the Modify Service Address button above the address map. So we close that, and we drag this above the map. There we go. That's a lot easier. Click Design to toggle out of design mode. Alright, confirm your work. In the Select Service Provider view, hover over the Modify Service Address button. Verify that street, city, state display the values you entered in the Identify Location view. So you hover over that, and there's the street, city, and state. So that is correct. Click the Modify Service Address button to modify the current address. Change your address in the Identify Location module dialog box. So modify, and now they're changing it to New York apparently. So 1120 6th Avenue, apartment number 4, New York, New York. Okay, and then we're going to copy that, paste it right there. New York, New York. And there we go. So we should be seeing the exact same image there. Although it's not really showing the exact same image. But I mean, I guess it's the same. Close enough? Close enough. Um, they might want to update their Google Maps a little bit, but okay. Click submit, and now the address has changed, as well as or at least I would hope that the address has changed. Yeah, it's changed there. The map hasn't changed, however, which is interesting. Verify the changes to the address by hovering over the modify service address. The service provider list updates to display a list of providers near the current address, which is true. As you can see, there's a lot of New Yorks there, so that's good. However, the map did not update, so interesting. Um, so I'm gonna suggest two edits on this one. Two edits that I would suggest. First, um, after changing the address to the new New York address, while the address and service providers change, the map, however, does not. Maybe add a note about refreshing the page for Google Maps to um, locate the address again. Second, um, there are a lot of details within the um, oh, oh, careful. Oh, Jesus. There we go. A lot of details within the local action that I was wondering about what they were. Will these be covered later on within the system slash business analyst missions? I ask because I wouldn't be too surprised if a boss later would say, create a local action um, you know, with um, a new format or something along those lines. Uh, a little bit of clarity might help for potential later use. Even if it is just a tip or a link to a web page discussing more in detail on what local action is. All right, we're going to submit that. And well, we've pretty much, you know, did everything that we needed to do. So we're just going to go ahead and verify the challenge. And it's 3 o'clock already, so we're going to go ahead and close on down after we verified the challenge. Let's see. Yep, okay. Challenge complete. So we are all done on this one. So, um, so want to practice or refresh your skills? Verifying your work again will not impact your previous completion status. So as they said, feel free to, mess around with this as much as you want. You know, use this as a, you know, as a, learning opportunity. Okay, start, adding more buttons. Modifying the map. Changing the service provider section. So on and so forth. You don't have to, follow. You don't have to, um, leave it at it as is. So like, say you have the service provider here, right? Maybe you just want to kind of modify it a little bit more. Um, you know, because this section is not configured for editing in the App Studio, you have limited access to this feature. Switch to the Dev Studio for more options. So, for business analysts, you might be like going, yeah, okay, maybe not. But for those of you that are continuing on with your system analyst, then, maybe you want to mess around with this a little bit more. But, just bear that in mind. So, feel free to mess around with your instance more, okay? Just so you can kind of get a little bit more understanding of what to do, okay? You know, if you're someone that can get it like right away, then great, awesome. But for someone like me, I would need to practice a little bit more to kind of get it set in my mind as to, what I need to do in order to handle, what they're looking for, you know. So, but once I have that, then it's pretty much burned in my brain. So, um, all right. But that's going to be it for this particular session. I want to thank everybody for stopping on by. No chatters today, but that's okay. I want to thank everybody that was just kind of lurking in the background. Appreciate you being here. Feel free to check out all the social links or all the links in the description. Um, I got various, um, social media connections there. Discord, Twitter. I got a Patreon for just that I have some YouTube videos available. Um, not necessarily um, for software development. That's all been pretty much public, but I put out some older like you know, gaming sessions and the like up on Patreon. So if anybody's interested in that, it's okay. I mean, you're welcome to check out all my other gaming videos. Believe me, I have a lot there. Um, um, and yeah, that's gonna be it for today's session. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully I catch you tomorrow. But so but that's it. So take care. Have a good night. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Especially today with all the fires that's been going on, especially over on the East Coast. Um, Stay safe out there, okay? Um, you know, um, yeah. Wish everybody luck. So take care and see you tomorrow.